New Year's Eve, a night of joy, of laughter, of countdowns and champagne. A night where the world celebrates and lets its guard down. But what if someone was waiting for that? Tonight's video is not about fireworks or resolutions. It's about the silence between the noise, the stranger in the crowd, the shadow under your bed, and the party you were never meant to leave alive. You'll hear 3 true stories. A fake Tinder invite that nearly became a trap. A party where someone didn't belong, but no one noticed. And a man hiding under a bed watching his hosts waiting for midnight. Each of these people thought they were ringing in the new year with celebration, but what they got instead was something else entirely. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and remember, not everyone counts down to midnight. Some just count on you letting your guard down. Story 1. New Year's Eve. Death Trap. New Year's Eve is supposed to be a night for celebration. Fireworks, countdowns, drinks with people you trust. But that night, it became something else entirely. A trap. One I barely escaped. It happened during winter break, my first year of college. I had come back home to visit my parents and spend the holidays with them. They had plans that night, some friends' party across town, so I had the house to myself. It didn't take long for me to invite 2 of my closest friends over, Jim and Steve. We cracked open a few beers, played some music, watched old videos from high school. It felt normal, easy. Then Jim said he matched with a girl on Tinder earlier that day. She invited me to a party, he said, holding up his phone. Says it's private, but open if we show up. At first, we all laughed it off. Tinder invites on New Year's, sketchy. But a few more drinks in and our decision-making wasn't exactly sharp. The address she gave him took us across town, farther than I expected. The houses got fewer, the streetlights sparser. Eventually, we ended up at the edge of an industrial zone. The address pointed to an old warehouse. It looked abandoned. Half the windows were boarded up. The other half were shattered. But there was music coming from inside, muffled bass echoing off the walls. "This is it," Jim said, sounding less sure. Still, we walked in. And from the moment we stepped through that door, I knew something was wrong. The lighting was low, just scattered floodlights bouncing off cracked concrete walls. There were people there, maybe 20 or 30. But no one was dancing. No one was laughing. They stood in quiet clusters, staring at nothing, whispering to no one. There wasn't a single woman in sight. The girl who invited us was nowhere to be found. I asked Jim, "You sure this is the place?" He nodded, visibly nervous now. Still, he tried calling her. After a few rings, she picked up. Her voice was soft. "Off." "I'm in the back," she said. "Past the double doors." We found the doors, metal, rusted, slightly ajar. What waited beyond them was a long, narrow hallway. Dim lights flickered above closed doors lining each side. That's when it happened. A man stepped out from one of the side rooms. Older. Calm. He walked right up to Jim and whispered something into his ear. Jim went pale. He didn't even speak, just turned to us and said, "We need to leave. Right now." We didn't ask questions. We turned and ran fast. As we burst back into the main room, we heard a voice yell behind us, "Don't let them get away." But weirdly, no one moved. No one chased us. And the front door, still wide open, like it had been open all along. Like someone wanted us to get in, and then decide if we could get out. We ran out into the cold night, our lungs burning, adrenaline spiking. We didn't stop until we were a few blocks away. I couldn't stop thinking about the girl on Tinder. Was she real, or just a profile allure? And that man in the hallway. What did he say to Jim? Jim wouldn't repeat it. He just kept saying it wasn't a party. It wasn't a party. When we got back to my house, we called the police and told them everything. They said they'd send someone to check it out. An officer showed up an hour later. He looked around for maybe 10 minutes, didn't even go inside. Then, he left. Later, I heard from someone online that the warehouse had been tied to a string of missing persons cases, but nothing ever came of it. No arrests, no press, no trace. The building still stands to this day, empty, cold, silent, like a tomb with no names. And sometimes, late at night, I think about how easily it could have been us. 3 kids looking for fun, walking into something we didn't understand. Something that was waiting. Story 2. A New Year's Eve, memory gone dark. It was supposed to be a fun night. New Year's Eve, 2016. My girlfriend and I had just moved into a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it was ours. To celebrate, we decided to throw a party. Something small, nothing wild, just close friends, drinks, music, and a countdown at midnight. We invited maybe 30 people. Most were friends from college, co-workers, neighbors. But like most parties, a few plus ones showed up, people we didn't really know. And that was the beginning of the mistake. The first hour was fine. Laughter, music, clinking bottles. Everyone seemed in good spirits. But as the night went on, we started noticing things. Little things. My girlfriend's purse, which had been on the kitchen counter, was suddenly on the floor in the hallway. The remote control was gone, later found inside the bathroom sink. A pair of wireless earbuds gone completely. At first we brushed it off. People were drinking. Things get misplaced. But then we found a box of jewelry open in the bedroom. Not emptied, just open, sitting in the middle of the bed. That's when I started to feel it, that sense you get when something isn't right, but you can't quite name it. To be safe, I quietly pulled out the small home security system I'd installed a few weeks earlier. 2 little plug-in cameras we used mostly for when we traveled. One was pointed toward the front entryway. The other was in the hallway near the bedroom, watching the valuables shelf. While the party continued, I snuck away to the office and opened the live feed. At first, nothing. Just people walking by, friends laughing, everything normal. But as I scrubbed through the earlier footage, I caught something that made my skin crawl. A man, tall, dressed in a long black trench coat, slipping into the hallway alone. He looked around once, then ducked into our bedroom. I paused the feed. I had no idea who he was. I asked around casually at first. "Hey, who's the guy in the black coat?" Most people shrugged. One girl said, "Oh, I thought he came with your girlfriend." But she had no idea who he was either. Now fully on edge, I went back to the cameras. He'd been in the bedroom for over 5 minutes, looking through drawers, unzipping bags, pocketing small things. And then, when someone came up the stairs, he didn't panic. He didn't run. He just slid under the bed. I felt my stomach drop, because not even 5 minutes later we had gone upstairs. My girlfriend and I sitting on that very bed, scrolling through our phones, completely unaware. And the camera, it caught it all. From under the bed, just beyond the edge of the comforter, 2 eyes, staring up, watching us. My hands began to shake. I stood up, slowly walked back into the bedroom. She was still sitting on the bed, watching the countdown on TV. I leaned in, whispered, "Get up. Walk downstairs. Don't ask questions, just go." She saw my face, pale, serious, and didn't argue. As soon as she left the room, I grabbed my phone and called the police. My hands were trembling. I backed out of the room and locked the door behind me. They arrived less than 10 minutes later, but it was too late. The window in our bedroom had been opened, curtain fluttering in the cold air, and he was gone. He left behind a half-packed bag filled with our belongings. He'd been stealing things all night and hiding. They dusted for prints, reviewed the footage. But even with his face partially visible on camera, nothing ever came of it. He was never caught, and we were never the same. For weeks after, we didn't sleep well. Every creak in the floor, every flicker in the hallway light. It all felt like him. Like maybe he never really left. Even after we moved out, the memory followed us. And now every time we host even the smallest gathering, I find myself checking the closets, under the bed, inside every shadow. Because sometimes the people you fear the most aren't breaking in from outside. They're already in. Story 3. The shadow beneath the bed. New Year's Eve was supposed to be a quiet celebration. Just me, my girlfriend, and a few close friends. Nothing wild, nothing loud. Just drinks, snacks, some music, and the comfort of knowing we'd all made it through another year. We lived in a small apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, open living room. Cozy, but not big enough for a crowd. Still, we managed to fit about 30 people that night. It started off great. People laughing, dancing, drinking cheap wine, and messing around with noisemakers and party hats. We had a Spotify playlist going. The TV was queued up for the midnight countdown. And then I saw him. A tall man in a long black trench coat standing by the hallway. At first I thought he was someone's +1, but he didn't talk to anyone. Didn't hold a drink. Didn't even turn his head. He just stood there, facing the wall. Still. I asked around casually, "Hey, whose friend is that guy in the coat?" Nobody knew. Some said they hadn't even noticed him. I should have trusted my instincts right then and there. But it was New Year's. People were buzzed. Everyone just brushed it off. That's when the small things started happening. My girlfriend's purse went missing, then reappeared under the kitchen sink. A set of wireless headphones were gone from the desk. Later found outside on the patio. Then our bedroom door, which we had specifically closed to keep guests out, was slightly ajar. I felt a pit open in my stomach. I'd installed 2 mini security cameras a few months back, one in the hallway, the other facing into the bedroom, just in case. While the rest of the party was getting louder closer to midnight, I slipped into the office and pulled up the app. I scrolled through the footage quickly. At first, normal stuff. People walking by, laughing, dancing. Then I saw him. The man in the black coat. He was walking down the hallway alone. He opened the bedroom door, slipped inside, looked around. Then he started going through our drawers, methodically, like he knew what he was looking for. My chest tightened. But then, it got worse. At one point he paused. He looked up. Then he heard someone coming. Instead of hiding in the closet or running out, he slid under the bed. I stopped breathing. Because just a few minutes later, my girlfriend and I had gone up to the bedroom. We were sitting on that bed, texting friends, taking a short break from the noise. And he was right beneath us. The camera caught everything. From the moment he pulled himself underneath, to the way his hand reached out and dragged a jewelry box back under with him. At one point, I remember hearing a faint creak from the floor. I thought it was just the building settling. But when I reviewed the footage frame by frame, I saw it. 2 eyes, glinting from the shadows under the bed, watching us. My mouth went dry. I got up slowly, walked back into the bedroom. She was still sitting there, legs crossed, scrolling her phone. I whispered, "Don't ask questions. Just get up, walk out, now." She looked confused, but something in my voice told her to listen. She got up and walked out of the room. I closed the door behind her, locked it, backed away, and called 911. The operator stayed on the line. My voice was shaking. I told them everything. The police arrived in less than 10 minutes. But by then, he was gone. The bedroom window had been forced open. The curtain was fluttering in the cold night wind. He had escaped. We found a few of our stolen items under the bed. A wallet, my girlfriend's earrings, a watch. He'd been there for who knows how long, sneaking through our home, rummaging, watching. The police reviewed the footage and took a report. They never found him. No one recognized him. No name. No connection. He vanished like a ghost. But the fear didn't. For weeks afterward, we couldn't sleep. We heard things. Felt things. Shadows that didn't match our own. Cold air in warm rooms. And the worst part, even after we moved out, that feeling stayed. That deep, primal fear. The knowledge that someone could be that close. So near. Right beneath you. And you'd never know. Until it's too late. 3 stories. 3 New Year's Eves. 3 reminders that not every year begins with hope. Sometimes, it begins with fear. With a door left unlocked. A window cracked open. Or a man in a black coat slipping beneath your bed while you laugh, drink, and look the other way. You won't see them on party photos. You won't remember inviting them. But they'll be there. Watching. Waiting. And when you finally realize it, it's already too late. So the next time you're counting down the seconds 5, 4, 3, take a second to look around, to check under the bed, to lock the window behind you. Because not all New Year's memories fade with time. Some follow you into the next year, and the one after that. Happy New Year. Stay safe. And don't forget, sometimes the party isn't over. It's just hiding in the dark.